The Illinois DLC has finally arrived for American Truck Simulator, and after spending some time driving through it, I couldn't shake this one feeling. It really feels like something is missing. Don't get me wrong, there are some really nice cities like Springfield, Marion, and Rockford, and the scenery closely resembles Illinois in general, and SC has clearly put a lot of work into this map. But after a few deliveries, I kept asking myself the same question. Why doesn't Illinois feel complete? Today I'm going to break down 3 reasons why I think this DLC is unfinished. And no, I'm not talking about bugs or graphics, I'm talking about design choices from SCS that leave the map feeling like it's missing a few key pieces. Let's dive right in. The biggest issue for me is the highway network. Illinois is one of the most important transportation hubs in the United States, but several major routes aren't simply there. In northern Illinois, you're missing interstates like I-290, I-88, and I-294, which happens to be a major toll road between Indiana and Wisconsin. And in southern Illinois, you're missing a good portion of Interstate 24, which starts at Interstate 57 and travels south through Kentucky and Tennessee to Georgia. These aren't tiny back roads, these are routes that truckers use every single day. Without them, driving through northern Illinois feels very simplified instead of authentic. Instead of choosing different routes depending on traffic or destination or congestion, you're often funneled onto the same highways over and over again. These 3 options of 290, 294, and 88 would add variety and make the map feel much more alive. The second reason I feel like this is incomplete is Chicago itself. One of the most famous things about driving in Chicago is trying to survive traffic. Yet, in American Truck Simulator, it feels surprisingly easy to get around. Sure, there's a few slowdowns here and there, especially when it comes to the interstate system, but it never really captures the feeling of navigating one of the busiest freight corridors in America. In real life, truck drivers are constantly making decisions based on congestion, construction, and alternate routes. Because several highways are missing, as I pointed out in the first reason, there aren't many meaningful route choices. Instead of planning your trip and possibly paying a toll to scoot past parts of Chicago, you're basically just following the most obvious path which SCS has set up for us. To me, that kind of removes some of the challenge of trucking through a major city like Chicago. And the final reason is a lot of the connections don't feel like they're finished. My last issue has more to do with how Illinois connects to the surrounding states. Illinois is the crossroads of the Midwest. Freight should naturally flow toward Wisconsin, Iowa, Missouri, Indiana, Kentucky, and eventually even more of the eastern states. Instead, some of those connections right now feel limited. As American Truck Simulator DLC maps continue to expand east, Illinois is going to become even more important. But right now, it feels like we're just driving through a version that's waiting for future pieces to be added. Some of these pieces include Wisconsin, Indiana, and Kentucky. The foundation for Illinois is there, but it just doesn't feel very connected yet until we get these other states. So does this mean that Illinois DLC is bad? No, not at all. I don't think so. I actually think it's a solid addition to the American Truck Simulator DLC map. The scenery is beautiful, the cities look great, and there are definitely some memorable drives, including Route 66. But for me, it still feels a little incomplete, especially being a former resident of Illinois. Missing highways, Chicago that doesn't feel like Chicago, and a lot of the connecting states, especially to the north and to the east. Those three things keep this DLC from reaching its full potential. What do you guys think? Am I being too critical on this? Or do you agree that Illinois is missing a few key pieces? Let me know down in the comments because I'm genuinely curious where everyone stands on this one. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next haul.